Good morning. Welcome in morning session of lecture 3 as per the guidelines given by the University Grant Commission during the lockdown. It is mandatory for all the teachers to take the classes, online classes, subject to the availability of the net. It may be there. Okay. Now the today's topics are the first part we will discuss some issues on the fundamental right and directive principles, differences between two, and the complementary aspect of both, new dimension of judiciary, and the international system of the social economic justice, and the struggle of our freedom fighters to give some promise through the supreme document to the people of India for their betterment, for the social welfare, and these are aspects which requires to be discussed in detail today. And during the freedom struggle, there was some promises of the freedom fighters, our leaders, and they thought that what kind of India should be in future. And the influence of their philosophy and ideology from the good system and well-established political system of some country. And the system which was emerged in the France, as you know, that a declaration of rights of man is there. That's why I have written to LLM second semester that today's lecture is a very, very fruitful lecture for the competition. I will highlight the system of international law and the questions which can be asked in your competitive examination or being asked. Then the French Revolution was there, and due to that French Revolution, there was the Declaration of Rights of Men, and under the declaration, there were the various kind of the rights was given to the people of France, and these were the social rights, economic rights, and political rights, civil rights, and you can say as a whole the human rights. And it is a combination of the human rights. And then you are well aware about the USA constitutions, and then under the various topics I have referred the Constitution of United States of America. If you will see the Article 1 and the Section 8 here, the provision is for the social rights to the people in that country. And yesterday we have discussed about the first 10 amendment of the USA Constitution, and these are called the Bill of Rights. And apart from this, when the Indian Constitution was framing after the over of independence struggle, there was the international efforts by the United Nations to incorporate or to prepare a special kind of documents for providing the rights to the people of the international community. That is the UDHR, as you know, and the effect of that UDHR and the effect of the American Constitution and the effect of the France system of Declaration of Rights of Men and the effect of the other system of the developed and developing country and democratic country were in our constitution. There was another effect. This is the background and the introduction. You can give the heading, the introduction. You should have to develop the habit of the breakup of the topic or chapter whenever you are doing your study and writing something. Even if in the competitive examination, if you are writing it, there should be the heading and points. Always heading and points should be there. and the answer of the question should be based on the structure of the question. Structure of the question. Therefore, today's topic is difference between the FR and the DPSP part third and part fourth. For the background and introduction in a summary, I am just quoting the international scenario, and the UDHR was framed by the international community, and the effect was also there in our constitution. And these are the combined documents where there are the civil political rights as well as the another side, the social and the economic rights. And when there was the debate, there is also the resolution passed by the Constitutional Reform Development Committee of 1932 and 33 is also there. Nehru Committee report is also there. And there is a Kranchi conference is there. And there is the basically of the speeches of our leaders which they have given to the public at that time, what kind of the freedom we will get in future and what rights should be given to the people of India. That was the background of this social system. Now come into the point that in Constituent Assembly debate, there was a debate about the separate part as a social and economic right. This is for the social and economic right, and the separate part as a political and civil right, which is known as a fundamental rights according to the constitutional language as prescribed under part third of the constitution. But these are the civil and political rights. Some writers have written the book, but the international system is there. What is the civil, what is the political right, what is the social right, economic right. If you will see the preamble of the constitution, there is one special kind of the justice, and under that justice there are three kinds of the justice. One is the social, another is the economic, then political is written at last. As I have said various times that why the political justice has been written at last, because of the reason that unless there will not be the development of the people of the particular country by getting the social justice, by getting the social rights and the economic rights. If economic rights will not be there, then certainly how the one will get the livelihood? This is the question, and that was there. And the point was that for the bifurcation of these rights, social, economic, and one side, and another side, the civil and political rights, there was the debate in the Constituent Assembly, and most of the members thought that this social and economic rights as a international document and the rights of the other people in other countries should be in one part. That should be in one part under the constitutional law. But ultimately all were not agreed. Even if in Constituent Assembly, I am talking about the Constituent Assembly, the chairman of the Constituent Assembly, that the Dr. Rajendra Prasad said that yes, it is okay, these are our dreams, these are our object goals, that the social and economic rights should be given to the people of India. But how these social and economic rights shall be fulfilled by the government in future, because we have no the sufficient resources. And if sufficient resources are not there, then it will be very difficult. And ultimately, a committee was constituted, and that committee was under the Pandit Govind Vallabh Pant has suggested that there should be the committee, and that committee will scrutinize all these things and the resources of India, population of India, and the income sources of India, because these are the economic rights. And the economic rights, unless there will not be any economy, then social rights cannot be achieved by any citizen or person who are residing in India and who are the citizen of this country. And thus the committee was constituted by the advice given, as I have cited, that the Pandit Govind Vallabh Pantji, and the committee was constituted under the chairmanship of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. And the subcommittee is also constituted after that subcommittee by that committee who had the task to scrutinize the political civil rights and other side the social and economic rights. Finally, it has submitted a report to the Constituent Assembly and said that we have the limited resources of economy. That's why the social and economic rights requires the money and finance to fulfill the object and goals of our our leaders, and in future, if there will not be any economy, then these will be only a teach without having any basically of the resources. Simple teach will be there, but that teach should not be used in the chewing of the food. That was there. Ultimately, this it has separated into the different parts, and this is the Indian background, international background you have seen, and therefore your habit should be to develop the to search here and there. If knowledge economy is available in the site, various sites are there, and very good in the material you can collect, and that finally it has decided in the Constituent Assembly the same should not be in a single part, but there should be the bifurcation of social, economic, and civil and political rights. Okay, now this system, and the one thing the Dr. Ambedkar also quoted, and he had given the observation about the bifurcation of all these aspects. He said that yes, we are making the political democracy in future by framing this constitution, but this political democracy shall not be completed unless we will not give the some special kind of the duty on the government and governance to fulfill the object of the constitution makers and the freedom fighters, that is the social and economic freedom. One can say that social and economic freedoms it requires to be given to the people of India. That was the observation given by the Dr. Ambedkar in the Constituent Assembly, and ultimately these are the freedoms which can be said that social and economic, and the welfare word is nowhere it is written in the constitution except this some provision article 38 and so on. Only single word is written to fulfill the welfare of the state, and normally the everyone is using the word that the space that the welfare country, India is a welfare country, but this is a social welfare country, social welfare country, and that has debated, and finally the division was given and the bifurcation was given of these two. Now in competition, normally it is being asked where there is a constitutional paper either in the judiciary or in other competition also, the relationship between the two part of the Indian constitution and the differences about the two parts. Now the habit of the student, especially up to the LLB, write one point here in FR and write 1.2 the under the DPSP. That is not sufficient, but apart this one, there should be the analysis of all these things from very beginning. From the beginning means the debate which was in the Constituent Assembly, and if you will see that the commentary is there, that part fourth there is basically one article, because of one article the whole system of from the article 36 up to the 51 has the less impact, and it was a less impact before that one, and that is the article 37, because of the 37. And what is the 37? The debate was marathon debate was there, committee report was there, finally the decision has been taken by Constituent Assembly, therefore they have placed or they have incorporated, inserted a special kind of provision under article 37 of the Constitution. And what is that 37 of the Constitution? You know, because that is available in your book, and the Beer Act, keep every time Beer Act with you. And the point is relating to that aspect, that the provision 36 is not no need to discuss here, and that we have discussed when we have discussed the article 12 as a state, because the definition of this part 4 is the same as it has enumerated under article 12. Only the one line is written that for the purpose of the state, it is the same definition as written under article 12 of the Constitution. But 37 is a debatable issue. It is a debatable issue. Why it is a debatable issue? Because many times you might be heard that the DPSP, Directive Principles of State Policies, are not justiciable. A word is there that is not justiciable. What is the meaning of that justiciability, and how this has written under Article 37? And the answer was given by the chairman of the draft committee. Constitution draft committee was there, and committees were there, assemblies were there, subcommittees were there, and so many nomenclature is there. That's why whenever you will read and study, then keep every word in your mind and try to catch the good words and translate in Hindi. Hindi medium so student can translate with the help of the legal glossary. Legal words are framed by the Government of India, Ministry of Law and Justice for that purpose, and that should be in your mind for translation. Also, the legal words should be there. Please avoid the mistakes of बर्तनी की गलतियों को सुधारिए, लिखिए, हिंदी बार-बार लिखिए, whatever language is. Point is that the language is also discussed by the Constituent Assembly. There is one chapter in the Constitution. In the chapter there is, and if you will go, the Constitution is an ideal document. That's why today I have given the message to those students who are appearing from the Almora campus to appear it. It is a topic for the fruitful topic for your competitive examination. All these things are here. But the 37 which it said that the provisions contained in this part, money part 4th of the Constitution, shall not be enforceable by any court, shall not be enforceable by any court. It has a initial provision. It means these parts are not justiciable. Reason is that which the Constituent Assembly members had decided that we have no resources, economic resources. That's why there is a mandate to the government or legislative assemblies or as well as the parliament to make the law to fulfill all the requirement, expectation and aspiration of the people of the country. Unless the law shall not be made by the competent legislature, these provisions shall not come into force automatically. That's why it has written under Article 37 that it shall not be enforceable by the court of law. That is the aspect, and but the principles laid down are nevertheless, because as I have cited that the observation of the Constitution Drafting Committee chairman, which he said that if the part 4th provisions shall not be implemented by the government in future, it will be very difficult for them to elect again by the people, because these are the mandate and these are only the goals which are directly related to the public. That's why one side these are the positive aspect of what should be done, and another side, if you will see the negative aspect, part 3rd of the Constitution, under the civil and political rights, negative rights are also there. Negative means it shall not be done. Many times this question may ask in interview, please, or it may be asked in the objective question, preliminary examination of any competition, that what do you mean by, and what are the how these fundamental rights are negative, whereas the directive principles are positive. Because of this Article 37, we say that enforceable. This is one of the reasons that why it is negative, because it is against the state. State shall not do this, state shall not do this, and the state's duty is defined under, and the definition is defined under Article 12 of the Constitution, that shall not be done by the state. And here in the that part, as you know, that the state shall endeavor, state shall strive. If you will see the first line of the directive principle, that's why these are the positive. And whereas part 3rd, the rights guaranteed as a civil and political rights, these are basically the negative rights, and negative against the government. It shall not be done, it shall not be stopped, it shall be done. That is this, in that or everything is written there. And but the principles laid down in part 4th, it has been said that the chairman of the draft committee and incorporated under Article 37, that if it has not been laid down, then nevertheless these are the fundamental of the government, fundamental duties of the government to implement all these provisions which are written under this directive principles. I am bifurcating both continuously and simultaneously, and with the support of these provisions, and you can correlate, and by giving the heading, the first heading, it is not required to give the first heading and second heading. Please apply your mind, so you are not the child. Okay. Now the first heading may be the enforceable by the law, and part of the one, paragraph 2 may be there. Writing process should be developed by the student always. Therefore, paragraph 1 you can read, one is enforceable, another is not enforceable, because Why it is enforceable? Because these are the negative rights. Why these are the negative rights? Because the Article 32 of the Constitution, there is a remedy in violation of these rights. Another side, the 37 is there. It has been written that this shall not be enforceable before the code of law. And this may be one heading. Nevertheless, the fundamental governance principles for the governance, one side. The fundamental rights, you can give the another heading. The fundamental. I am just citing the example, but I am not making you the headings. It is your duty. It is your duty after analyzing all these things. If you will continuously do the study after 10 at night, after 10 up to the 12 and 1, then certainly the good concentration will be there, or from morning after the 5, if you will do all these things. And if the sleeping system, it comes automatically whenever it requires. But the study will not get the time in future, please. Therefore, the fundamental duty of the state to apply these principles in making law, and for the implementation of fundamental rights, as I have cited, that there shall be the duty of the state always to make the law. Unless the law shall not be made, then all the fundamental principles for government, that is the part 4, will not automatically apply. The first line of the every article, you can see. And in the second lecture, I have discussed about the right to education. That was the debate, why the strife and why the endeavor word is going to be written by the constitution makers. There was the debate in every comma, full stop, and words, and very wisely debate was there. And therefore, the DPSP are the subsidiary of the fundamental right. If you will see the Kerala education bill is there, and from that point of view, the court has laid down the 1957 whatever is there per citation. You can check from the website and from your books if that is available with you. That in the first time, the court has laid down certain principles, although the directive principles are not enforceable by the code of law. But at the same time, we cannot ignore that the directive principles, because these are the goals of the constitution makers for the betterment, for the social welfare, for economic welfare, for the all round of welfare of the people. Unless these shall not be implemented by making the law by the government or by appropriate legislature, it cannot be said that really we have got one special kind of the freedom. Therefore, the court has played its very wonderful role, or a good role, by saying that we cannot ignore it. Though this is not enforceable by the code of law, but this cannot be ignored. It means it is a ideal philosophy of the courts in that points of view, and said that these are the supplementary and complementary to each other, and it should be yes, the citation of this Kerala bill is given of 1958. That may be the bill of 1957, but check it, because some comments are coming later on. It is the duty of the student also to check what is the exact figure. And 58, Supreme Court has cited that is cited by some private journals. The EIR All India Report is a private journal. SCR is a government journal. And that journal in 958 citation is here, but this is not so relevant to discuss this one. And what are the principles laid down by this case, or by the Supreme Court in this Kerala education bill, because it is a reference to the Supreme Court under Article 143 and so on. It may be there, and in means reference. In two cases, situations, the court can take the matter, either it has referred by the President of India, or secondly, suo motu action can be taken for consideration. That is the power of the Supreme Court. The complete justice 142 is also there here for the purpose of the functioning of Supreme Court. It can be taken. Therefore, there is a system. In there will not be any verse. Another party will not be there. Only one party will be there. And normally there is a practice, if only one party is there, the amicus curiae can be appointed by the court for analyze all the matters which are very essential. Therefore, the FR and DPSP complementary and supplementary the first principle laid down at that time in the 1958 is 57 bill 1958 by the Supreme Court, that we cannot ignore it by saying that the fundamental rights should be constituted or constructed, should be interpreted in the light of the directive principles. In the light of the directive principles, it means that there should be the harmonious construction of the law. Right? You have read under the principles of the interpretation. There are rules, some rules, and one of the rule is harmonious construction should be there. Sometimes the relevancy should be given to one aspect or another aspect. A harmonious, it means a mixed interpretation is required. So the balance should be made and to give the preference to both. This is called the harmonious construction. And you can go through the, whenever the word, new word comes, please automatically to search the material and try to read it, to include, to develop your vocabulary, to develop your information. And if information will be there, then there will not be any kind of problem in future. And then after that, there are other cases relating to this MC Mehta case, Kamal Nath, environment related case. Because the environment, when we were discussing the environment under this law and social transformation, it is a very wonderful paper and a very relevant paper, incorporated as a separate and mixed up all the subject, including the environment, women empowerment, and at the same time the rights of the children and other vulnerable groups, and some philosophy is also in that paper. Philosophy means that jurisprudential aspects are also there. So therefore, this concept of the 48A, capital A, it has incorporated in the Constitution by 42nd Amendment of 1976. Because these are the objective questions. That's why I have said that the today's lecture is very relevant for the purpose of competition. Every lecture, continuously the student will attend all these lectures. Certainly 50% he will be ready to give anytime relating to this competitive examination, at least the pre-examination, and writing method they can develop it, because the student have no scope, and at this time the lockdown period is also going on. That coaching, there are the commercial institutes. But anyway, the point is that the MC Mehta versus Kamal Nath case, it has said that with reference to the Article 21, and the 21 includes all the rights, bundle of rights, and one of the right is right to the pure environment, and a good environment, a favorable environment, and that is the population, that is pollution should not be there in the environment. Therefore 48A is there, and according to this provision, you have seen the Environment Protection Act to avoid the pollution in the system by the industries. As you have seen, all these things are there. Therefore the point which says that in that Kamal Nath case, of that is the citation of, this is the case of the 2000 Supreme Court, said that there is a complementary and a supplementary, and a 48A can be implemented because there is a provision that the law shall be made. It is a obligatory aspect. It is a clause which has gives the only that part which is in the Constitution relating to the protection of environmental system. And that another cases are Champakam Durai Rajan is the first case. Okay, I am just forgetting that case also. And we have discussed about the ratio of that case and the fact of that case in under this law and social transformation. There is here is no need to repeat it, but only aspect is that is also the at that time the relationship in between the two. That is the initial and the first amendment has made in the Constitution because of the effect of that Champakam Durai Rajan. This is also the question. This is also the question for the competition. Every aspect is very relevant. The state of Haryana versus the Personal Staff Association 2002 case is that. and some principles has laid down about the difference and comparison between two and correlationship of that part third and part fourth of the constitution as a civil and political rights and the social and economic rights. Claim of the equal pay for equal work is there, as you have seen that the article 39D. And that what is the 39D? 39D says that the state shall in the particular direction its a policy towards securing it's a policy is different, and another side that to make the law is different, to strive to and for making the law. And there are the words, and these words please uh, in Hindi also you नीति निर्धारण करेगा where for what purpose, for the purpose of the equal pay to the both men and women, in between the men and women. This there will not be any discrimination. 39D is also there. Then the court has said in that matter we cannot compel to the that is not a very good decision of the court. You can such add that there is equal pay for the equal protection, and court claim for the equal pay is not a fundamental right, because it is not a fundamental right. It has said by the court, though it is not a fundamental right, but article 21 is there. Life includes every kind of the things, liberty and CEDAW is there, and the protection 15 is there, 16 is there. Especially the 15.3 especially says that the special law shall be made for the that welfare and of the women in the society. But whatever it has said, it depends on the approach of the court time to time. Therefore, this is one of the relating to this one. Chandra Bhavan Broadcasting and Lodging case versus State of Mysore. It is a 1970 case, but some is because the net is going, indication has given. The next session will be right to education, free education. But one thing, please keep in your mind, in 1971, 25th Amendment of the Constitution incorporated some provisions under the fundamental rights that especially of Article 31 clause C, capital C is there, and in that provision it has been written that the whenever the policy has laid down under part 4th of the Constitution will be implemented by the government, that shall not be deemed to be, or that shall not be amount to violate the article 13 of the Constitution, because 13 provides the law, definition of the law, and it will not be amount that it is being violated the principles of law for the purpose of the enforcement of the part 3rd of the Constitution. C is there. Then there were two another provisions that it cannot be challenged before the court. It has turned down the second part, the paragraph, not paragraph 2, but the last sentence was turned down by the Supreme Court in Keshwanand Bharti case, and it has upheld that yes, if the policy as laid down in part 4th of the Constitution, this will make the law by the Parliament or competent legislature, as the case may be, according to the subject enumerated under Schedule 7th of the Constitution, as is state list and the union list. This will not amount to the violation of the fundamental rights. It may be, but for that purpose, the Article 13 shall not apply. Try to understand it, because under Article 13 there is a law, and a law is enacted by the competent legislature to implement the some provisions of the directive principles. So that's why the 25th Amendment is there of 1971, and a special article incorporated under the fundamental right, not the directive principle, because of the Article 37. If what will be the impact, if what has been the impact if it has been incorporated there, then it will be in the same manner as the others are existing there, but it has shifted there under the fundamental rights. This comes in your competitive examination. Article 31, please. A, B, C, D has been repealed by the 44th Amendment of the Constitution, and the A, B, C, 31 accusation. Whenever there is a election, whenever there is a disaster, just like the epidemic that you have seen, the disease at present existing, all the officers, all the persons, all the property, and whatever there is a emergency, in not emergency, there is a need and urgency. Urgency word will be proper. That 31A is there, and according to this 31A, the acquisition can be done by the government, state government, and it will not be amount that it is violation of the fundamental right. Although the fundamental rights property right is shifted from the 19(1)(f) to 300A. This is also the question. Every aspect is the question. Various times it has asked that 44th amendment and 42nd amendment. These are the questions. Where from the questions will come? Question will come from the ambit of the constitutional law. Some are very essential question, and that was done in 1971. Indian Handicraft Emporium, that is also the environmental related cases. And in short, you can say that there are some aspect relating to this. One which can be in some summarized manner can be said that the enforceable aspect, another side, that enforceable aspect is not their part 4th of the constitution, but there are the fundamental principles for the governance, fundamental principles for the government. But court has laid down the principle, and still it is being laid down. The Minerva Mills case is also there, Keswanand Bharti case is there, Unni Krishnan's case is there, and TMA Pai case is there. Complementary, supplementary, the various times the court has laid down the principles, and there are the sufficient cases decided by the Supreme Court in this regard relating to the implementation of all the social and economic rights of the people, and fundamental rights establish the political democracy, causing whereas the DPSC is a social and economic right. One side the political rights, as you know, why these are called the, again the question, the political, why these are called the civil rights, and who is the civil? If you will see the Salmon definition of the civil, just civil, a natural law also. Therefore, the ideology of the lawyer, you are deemed to be a lawyer, a good lawyer, because your ideology after getting this LLM degree or pursuing their degree, your status is to practice before the High Court, not to the lower court, because you have the very good system of argument. Thus, the presentation system is there. Over of this course, I will take your presentation also. What I am talking the meaning of the civil rights. Why these are the civil rights? So, what is the meaning of the rights? One side, if you will see, just civil, Roman system was there, and the origin of this world from the Rome, that some rights were there which were only for the citizens in that country. Some laws for the protection and for providing to the citizen of the country. That's why the citizen, and but in under this part 3rd, if you will see Article 14, if you will see the Article 21, these are the rights for all, including the persons. The person word is here, but some are for the citizens. Article 19 is purely for the citizen also. 20 for the person, because it is a protection. 3 clauses are there. Ex post facto laws, whenever there is a, if we will compare it with the Indian Penal Code, there is when any crime was committed by foreigner which coming in India, what law will apply, and it is a matter of the as well as the international law, and therefore there are the Article 20. It has given the protection that the whatever the law is existing at that time, that will be apply on the person who has committed any kind of crime, called the alleged offender, or unless the guilt shall not be proved, it cannot be said a person is the guilty. This is the common law principle, and these are called the legal sanction. There is a legal sanction where legal sanction relating to the part 3rd.